Good. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic that stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silent reflection for our servicemen and women throughout the world and for those who have passed away in our community. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Here.
Mr. Schuster?
Present.
Dr. Rothchild? Here. Mr. McAndrew?
Present.
Mr. Smurl?
Here. Dispense with reading of the minutes.
Third order, 3A, correspondence dated November 6, 2025, from City Business Administration regarding Scranton Fire Department budget transfer. 3B, notice of department work sessions related to the City of Scranton 2026 operating budget dated November 6, 2025. 3C, listing of food pantries in Lackawanna County received November 6, 2025.
Are there any comments on any of the third order items? If not, received and filed. Do any council members have any announcements at this time?
Yes, I have two announcements. So there will be an electronics event on Sunday, November 16th from 9 a.m. till noon. Registration is required online, so the event is free for Scranton residents only, but it's an electronics recycling event. Also, I got a call today about the Francis Assisi Kitchen. So they serve dinner 7 days a week from 11 to 12. They had 3 nights at the 500 of Penn Ave. They were asking for some support. They do need some donations and some volunteers for Thanksgiving, and the number there is 570-342-5556. And again, they're asking for donations and support to get their pantry up to stock for Thanksgiving.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I know that we have this handout from Mr. Voldenberg. So a notice is hereby given the Scranton City Council will hold department work sessions on the following dates and times. This evening, we had our business administrator here along with Information Technology, Human Resources, Bureau of Treasury, and Law Department, all speaking on the 2026 budget. On Tuesday, November 18th at 5:30 p.m., the Office of Economic Community Development, Parks and Rec Department, and Department of Public Works will be here. On Tuesday, November 25th, Scranton Police Department, Scranton Fire Department, and the Mayor's Office will present. The purpose of the work sessions is to discuss the 2026 operating budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Fourth order, citizen participation.
First, Joan Hodowanis.
Joan Hodowan, Scranton. I have quite a bit to say, so if you have a response, please hold it till fifth order. With regard to the amendment to the zoning ordinance, I'd like to know, is this a first heard for the residents near the hospital? And if not, what do they have to say? And now the budget. Excuse me. I did spend quite a lot of time studying each line of the budget, and I prepared spreadsheets for you. I had many questions, and which could have been answered if some of them could have, if I could have accessed prior audits and union contracts. But guess what? They're no longer on the city website. Imagine that. I'd like to know why they're no longer on the website and when they're going to be reposted. This is not a good time to do that. When you look at the spreadsheets, one of the reasons I did that was because I wanted to show the variances, how much something went up or down, and the percentage. Anything that goes over 10% deserves your attention, and should be either self-evident, like maybe they hired a new guy, or they need to footnote it and say what's going on, like that $175,000 of postage and freight in the Treasury Department. You know, hey, I'm just supposed to suck that up? No way. That's why God invented the footnote, and you need to tell them that. Pay raises, as you know, most of the pay raises for the union people are tied into their contracts. You see a lot of 3% in there, some 4% for the non-union personnel, and that's fine. You're going to see some big numbers when it comes to department heads, and DPW will be here next week. But I still will tell you that even though it's important to offer a good salary to recruit and retain good people, you still need to factor in performance evaluations. And I'm thinking mostly about how many people we had as department heads in the past. And I got to tell you, some of them could not find their way out of a paper bag if you gave them a flashlight and a strip map. So when you start seeing the thousands of dollars offered to department heads, make sure we get someone who has the skill set. Reassessment. What happens if the county pauses reassessment, and do you have a plan B? If so, what is it? Healthcare. You saw in the narrative that the city says it's up 8.48%, and that varies from clerical went up 17%, police and the single tax office 12%, fire 4%, non-union 8%. And then there's DPW, which went up 5%. And I said, how can that be? They don't have a contract. So I managed to get a copy of the contract that expired last December, and it says that the DPW union can adopt the health insurance provisions of another union. Is that what they did? Because under DPW admin, you'll see it went up $2 million, and that can't be for their non-union people. Because when you get to the pay salaries, it's flat. No increases are shown. So I'd like to know what happened there. 5 new positions? Well, I have a different math. If you go to page 54, the second last page of the budget where you see the total for the payroll, for this year, there were 522 employees. For next year, 529. That's 7 people. What happened to the other 2 if there are only 5 new positions being recommended? And let's see what else. Oh, Social Security. You see my technical advisor over there? He tells me the police don't pay Social Security, but it's in there under their section, $509,000, which at 6.2% equates to a salary of $8,210,000. What is going on? Who's being having Social Security deducted from their pay? I want to know.
Thank you, Joan.
Mr. Voldenberg,
Yes, sir.
can we get all of those questions and have them for next week,
I may
since
note
we have
it.
those departments coming in? Thank you.
I will.
Pleasure.
Good evening, everyone. Mike Mancini, Scranton. Tonight, the gloves are off. I know the kindness of our citizens, and I'm knuckled up for them. I get stronger every round with this council. Hinge and cringe to my every word. Strongly suggest that each of you get a piece of paper and something to write with. Prove that you care about your city and its citizens. It's not the person who speaks before council. It's the words they choose and the questions that need answers, like 73 opioid-related deaths in the last 5 years without one prosecution. Do any of you wish to investigate this any further? What about the families without justice? There were 10,072 charged with a crime and only 1,982 arrested in 5 years. Do you even care about the safety of our city or its brave police officers? There were over 1,000 criminal warrants just sitting. Are any of you even concerned? When you refuse to answer important questions because of the speaker, you only make an ass out of yourselves. Each of you is guilty as charged. When you refuse to answer questions, it shows your true character. Each of you only care about yourselves. Prove everyone wrong. They see it too. There was a ceremony at the University of Scranton for former Mayor Wenzel on November 5th, 40 years to the day he was elected. Not one of you wished to show your face. Is it because Mayor Wenzel was a Republican? Well, he was a true friend of Scranton and a war hero. He led by example. Each of you needs to strive to become more like him. Each of you could ask Mr. Voldenberg about a pothole or a blighted property. They are everywhere. Not one of you utilizes his excellent skill set. Start answering questions, getting answers, because my words, my voice can become very sharp and descriptive. To Sean McAndrew and Patrick Flynn, remember my words when you were sworn in. The good people of Scranton come first. Lead by example. City Council desperately needs those willing to get answers and have real solutions. The only answers we get from Dr. Rothchild, other than a pothole or a blighted property or about the unhoused task force, she states they meet or will meet again. When? When will be the next meeting? Public would like to be present to see firsthand where the mayor starts a meeting without the national anthem. Now she's onward to better things. Have you even considered asking the school district to share services like a gymnasium when it's cold out? What about Colts? Helping to shuttle the homeless to somewhere inviting and warm instead of shivering outdoors. Have you even considered a wind chill factor as an option for Code Blue? When your heart's in the right place and you care, you ask these questions and demand answers. It's time for each of you to better represent the good people of Scranton. There are 2 seats up for re-election in less than 2 years. I would highly recommend you start representing those who elected you. I will be eyeing that seat, Dr. Rothchild, or the mayor's chair, whichever comes first. In the meantime, I will stay knuckled up and willing to ask the right questions, demand answers for the good people of Scranton. I fight for them. Enough disrespecting those chairs and who sat in them before you. It's time to knuckle up or get voted out. I operate on a different level. I love my city. I care about its citizens. Scranton does not deserve mediocre or crickets. Next week, what a supermajority council can accomplish. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you. Les Spindler?
Good evening, Council. Les Spindler, city resident, homeowner. Last week, I forgot to talk about this. About 2 weeks ago, Dr. Patricia Sperling, a.k.a. Dr. Paul, has passed away. She was a wonderful person. My wife and I have been going to her with our pets for 36 years. She started off at the Scranton Dog and Cat Hospital on Providence Road with Dr. Dorton. And she left there to go on her own. She didn't have an office yet, so she rented an RV and used the RV for her office until she got her own spot, which is now on 7th Avenue. And Dr. Sperling she cared so much for the animals, and she did so much for the animals. She worked hard with the Griffin Pond to get animals adopted. Not only was she a great veterinarian, she was a better person. And like I said, my wife and I took our dogs and cats there for 36 years, and we consider her a very good friend. And I just went to her service before they had a viewing. And I know my wife and I are going to miss her terribly, and I know her husband Dave, who ran the place, will. So rest in peace, Dr. Sperling. Next thing, on the mayor's acceptance speech, she said she believes in transparency. Well, that's not true. Because when I asked a while back why she replaced Police Chief Nemetka, she said, oh, it's a personnel issue. I can't talk about it. Then I asked about Tom Preamble, why he was replaced. Personnel issue, I can't talk about it. That's not transparency. That tells me you're hiding something. So whatever she says, you can't believe a word of it. Next thing. Finally, the government shutdown ended, but Congress was out of work for 52 days, and they kept collecting their paychecks. Meanwhile, people lost their SNAP benefits, other benefits. They were still collecting their paychecks. People couldn't put meals on their tables. It's a crime. Next year, when the midterm elections come, we got to vote all these Republicans out of office because they were the problem. They didn't care about these people that couldn't put food on their plates. And Rob Bresnahan, he's a millionaire, and he was sitting home for 52 days collecting a paycheck. So next year, when he's up for re-election, if he's not voted out of office, that'll be a crime. Lastly, just down on North Main Avenue and it's South Main Avenue and Jackson Street, there's a business called King of Kings Electronics. In front of their store, there's a pave cut that turned into a pothole. I talked about this in the summer, and it's still not fixed. And it's terrible. You got to either go around it, which you can't because there's usually traffic coming the other way, or you have to slow to go really slow, or you're going to probably blow out a tire or whatever. So there were other spots that right there too, but they were filled in, but they missed this one. So hopefully DPW could fill that in. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Voldenberg, can we send that pothole in? There was a rather large one in front of that. I put it into the pothole portal that we have. It did get filled in, but it opened back up.
I'll reach out tomorrow.
Thank you.
Ann Kwiatkowski?
Hi, good evening. I'd like to speak to something that I think has come
Pull
up.
the microphone down, please.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
That's come up in other meetings, and that's the tractor trailers on North Main Avenue and going into the neighborhoods. I don't know if you happen to see the email that I sent. I sent it to Dr. Rothchild, but didn't get a response, and then I sent it to Mr. Voldenberg, and I hope that he sent it to you. And my neighbors are very happy to hear that PennDOT is working on improving the signage on Main Avenue and Lackawanna Avenue, but I'd like to ask for something else in addition. Would it be possible for us to get a sign on the corner of North Main and West Gibson saying no trucks? I don't know if that would be a city or if that would be included in the PennDOT work, but I'm the last house on West Gibson before the dead end. Mine is the last corner. So when the tractor trailers come down over West Gibson, they go to the end and they have nowhere else to go, and they turn right through my front yard, because they can't make, they're huge. They can't make the corner. My sidewalk is all broken. I don't ever have it replaced because it's just going to continue to be broken. So I was wondering if we can get a sign there that says no trucks, so that when they turn their head to the left and think they're going to be able to make that left corner, they can see that sign and maybe will think twice about it. I don't know if that would be city or, like I said, PennDOT.
So I brought this up the past 2 weeks and the past 3 years. So the response I did get back from administration is, because I said that PennDOT and the city have to get together. The signage has to be more clear and earlier for these trucks, going, whether it's Lackawanna, coming down Main, because the GPS is sending them up your street thinking they can get to Kaiser.
Right.
And it just doesn't.
Right.
You can't get to Kaiser from there. So, Mr. Voldenberg, could you, so what, the response I got is they're working on it. So, and I'm taking them at their word. So could you please, within the request we already sent, if that's, because they're going to do a traffic study, or at least I hope, the city engineer, because they're involved now, that a sign,
think it'd be
some
more the
signage
city.
be considered for that street. Gibson.
That was part of the request.
All right, well, just to
The city and PennDOT are looking at the overall project.
No, I know,
But
but
I
that's-
said in the interim, if DPW could erect the signs at West Gibson and
That would be
North
great.
Main.
At FAR, at least they can go out and turn around in Emiliani's there and maybe come back out and then go back the other way on Main. But like I said, when they get to the end of West Gibson, there's nowhere for them to go.
So you're on the corner of North Fillmore and West Gibson?
No, West Gibson and North Garfield.
Okay.
I know where you're at. That's tight. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's tight, I can't even believe the tractor.
It's ridiculous.
Yep. West Gibson really is,
Yeah.
And I included the photos of the damaged curb line.
All right, well, just we'll stay on it and get,
that would be great. I didn't know if there was something that I needed to do to request that, or,
it's done.
Okay.
Well, it's not done, it's requested, so,
okay, I'll keep an eye.
yeah, please do.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you. That's all for our sign-in sheet. Does anyone else wish to address council?
Good evening, members of council. Edmund Skikiti, Arthur Avenue resident. Last time I had the pleasure of appearing before this body, there was a supermajority vote in favor of adopting the new comprehensive Scranton zoning ordinance. All of you remember the tumultuous time that we had, primarily with the issue of the expansion or the proposed expansion of zoning change for Geyser Community Medical Center. We all took a deep breath and thought, thank God, we got this resolved. Those of us who live on Arthur Avenue put our head on the pillow that night and weren't concerned about a 120-foot parking garage less than 100 feet from the deck at the rear of our home. And everything appeared to be good, other than the fact that, of course, the property that homes were on and torn down was never screened as required under the zoning ordinance, but we let it slide. So you're about to introduce an ordinance to change back the zoning that those of us who were involved in the fight, and not just the neighbors, but a lot of people who love the park, love the appearance of coming up Mulberry Street and seeing the park, also supported. And it's on what I would call an extreme fast track to get this done before the end of the year. Now, we just had an election last week where there are going to be 2 new members to this body. I don't know what the urgency is, and it concerns me. The fact that there seems to be a move to get this done by the end of the year suggests to me that there's some whispering going on somewhere about what should happen here, and I don't know why. The incoming members of City Council will have to live with whatever the result of this is, and I think that they should be given an opportunity to entertain the ordinance amendment. Fresh look, clean look, and it will remove the suspicion in the minds of many of the neighbors that there's some backroom deal afoot here. As I said earlier, we spent almost a year putting that thing together when we came up with a compromise. Just a couple of things, food for thought as you think about this going forward. I've been a practitioner of municipal law for probably 40 years. At that time and now, I'll remind you that Geisinger, like any property owner in the city of Scranton, who feels disaffected by some zoning designation, has a right to appear before the zoning hearing board. I've had the pleasure of being in front of that board many, many times in my career, and I will say one of the good things about that board is they sometimes try to facilitate compromise. Well, there was no compromise in rezoning back to the 120-foot, whatever it is they want to build on the 200 of Colfax and the 400 of Colfax. And that's the thing I love most about Geisinger. Does anybody really know what they want to do with that property? No. They are going to have a neonatal unit, and that's wonderful. We all applaud that. I think it's going to be 20 units. Well, you're not going to need 2-block-long, 120-foot parking garages to facilitate the neonatal unit. In fact, the newspaper articles say that the neonatal unit will be inside the main structure. But Geyser's not going to really tell you what they want to do here. They just want to have it so they can do with it what they please down the road. So I think you have two options here, ladies and gentlemen, other than a vote before the end of the year. The first is to continue the proceedings until after the new council is sworn in, or in the alternative, to deny the amendment and direct that Geisinger appear before the zoning hearing board and make their case. We worked long and hard to get where we are, and we believe that it will be a manifest injustice for this body to go back and undo what we did a year ago. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, Scranton. Rick Little from Scranton. Last week, I went to the election board to get the results of who won the election, and they said it's unofficial. Come back the next week. I came back today, and they still didn't have the official results. But I'd like to point out that everybody thinks they know the results from the paper. Dem Welby wins election. Cognetti easily wins election. Democrats sweep 3 council seats. This is the Times Tribune, the only thing people can read to know what's going on in our local republic. And there's all kinds of other headlines. I seem to have lost them here. You know, that Democrats sweep. And this is after the whole No Kings thing and the government shut down. Anyway, this is what they gave me, and I'm asked from the election board, and I asked them, you know, how's it work with the Times Tribune? You know, did you give this to them? And their response was, well, they went on our website and distilled it down. There was one page that had the election results. I think it was last Thursday with who won. But the thing that really struck me is Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is the only state in the Union that has these positions of judge of elections and inspectors of elections. And it's a paid position, and I'll talk just about Scranton. According to them, there's 24 wards of Scranton, and they gave me the results, and I'm going through it, and they tell you how many votes, who won for judge of elections and judge of inspector of elections, but there's no name there. It's just, you know, 14 write-in votes and, you know, 3 regular votes. And I think there should be some clarity of what exactly is going on in this area, because this is a you know, since the Whiskey Rebellion, before the this is the only taxation without representation state. This is the first one to go crazy, and that was in the Whiskey Rebellion with the tax on people growing corn. It was right near Pittsburgh, and they and Thomas Jefferson was in Paris, and he said, "Yeah, this is a good thing because, you know, to a republic, it has to be, you know, there has to be rebellion and everything. But something has happened around here in Lackawanna County. And the people that I surmise in my own things, in my own studies, that every one of these judge of elections and inspectors of elections are tenants in Scranton Housing Authority. That's proved me wrong. There should be some talk about it. I'm going to go next week and get the results, the official results. I keep looking in the newspaper, you know, I guess that's why they're not swearing anybody in. But after this thing with all the judges, I mean, the judges they're retaining, these are the same judges that locked this city down, that criminalized, you know, so people could point to people, oh, you don't have a mask on, and you don't have the jab, you can't go to school, you can't go to work, you can't fly. These are the people that did it. We need our democracy, real democracy here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Doris Klosky, resident of Scranton. Okay, first, I'm here on a mission. On Saturday, November 22nd, and Sunday, the 23rd, the SMRA is holding an emergency food drive at Naog Park. Donations can be dropped off between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. at the Naog Community Room, which is the former snack bar at the Olive Street entrance. There's not a lot of time, so please try to get word out to all your friends and places where you work. Non-perishable foods only, and please check to make sure that there's no expired dates. And Mr. Voldenberg, I know we usually have posters for you, but this came up so quick we didn't. So if you could just spread the word around City Hall, we'd appreciate it. I'd like to answer Joan's question about the neighborhood knowing about the change in the zoning ordinance that you're going to put forward tonight. We had a Hill Neighborhood Association meeting on October 29th. Dr. Rothchild was there, a representative from the hospital was there, but we residents found out when we read it in the Scranton Times. So just a food for thought on that. Let me see if I had something else. Oh, yes, I have one more thing I would like to ask. What's going on with Code Blue? I did speak to the John Judge, the fire chief, and he said that there was a meeting to work on that. So if anybody knows anything about what came out of that, speak now.
Yes, it was announced today that the city is partnering with Catholic Social Services to take care of the Weston Field House Code Blue shelter.
Right, but what about the temperature? Did they raise that at all?
As of now, there's been no changes to the temperature. It does take windshield factor into consideration. I know that was a question earlier.
No, that wasn't my question. My question was the temperature alone.
They want to work together
20 degrees is so low, I thought they'd at least get it to about maybe 33, right above freezing, hopefully.
Yeah, if we can encourage the county to change some of their guidelines.
Okay, so now it's the county will harass. Okay, thank you, people. Have a good night.
Thank you, Doris. Anyone else?
Tom Coyne, Manuka. First of all, in listening to the earlier meeting, buying and using AI legal is a horrible idea. Lawyers have been sanctioned for this recently, and including judges. There was one lawyer who used AI legal for research. He submitted his cases. Some of the cases in there did not exist because AI created them for him. On review of it, he was sanctioned by the courts and brought in and said, why shouldn't they pursue him for his actions of not shepherdizing his work? And shepherdizing means when you have a case that's quoted, you need to look it up and make sure that what you're quoting in your actual legal documents are what the case actually said. In this case, he doubled down and he had AI write him an excuse of why he shouldn't be charged for it, and he got caught again in his appeal for using AI by using AI. At this point, AI is an interesting tool, but without the legwork, without the looking at it, it's a dangerous tool that puts you in liability, and it is not mature enough for a city or even an individual lawyer to use without extensive physical work. The county building has Westlaw. If the city can't afford it, the lawyer can walk down to the county building and it's there for free. Moving on, Code Blue. The city on its website has it listed at 20 degrees for Code Blue, but it notes the Department of Homeless Services and the ready.us.gov has it 32 degrees with wind chill. If ready.gov says it's 32 and the Department of Homeless Services says it's 32, why are we ignoring that considering it's directly on Scranton's website itself? Why do we choose lower for the care and comfort and protection of our people? Last week we proposed $581,000 to for-profit and nonprofits for grants. Today we have an $821,000 added on this budget, $1.4 million running through in 2 weeks. Again, 5F, we're looking to give $25,000 extra for a paid pathway navigator to coordinate nonprofits. Why are we even dealing with nonprofits if they can't coordinate their own business? If I'm a food bank, I can pick up the phone, I can write an email, and I can communicate with other food banks. I'd rather see $25,000 go to actually buying food and caring for the homeless than setting up another position that shouldn't be there because they should be able to coordinate their own damn business. Food pantries. Of course the mayor's pushing them in her city for regional. She's going for a regional position now. She's no longer concerned solely with Scranton. She wants to put up advertisements for food banks all over the county. I don't think it's the mayor's responsibility for the county. It's the mayor's responsibility for the city of Scranton. But we know that's not true anymore because she's not looking to be reelected in the city of Scranton. She's looking for a federal job. CIC closes at 6 p.m. Weston Field opens at 8 p.m. That's 2 hours. I would like to invite Dr. Rothchild to come down to CIC with a backpack of clothes and stuff like that, and we can take the mile or mile and a quarter walk from CIC to Weston Field in 19-degree weather and sit for 2 hours waiting for it to open. I have no problem with doing that, of standing outside for 2 hours and walking from one location to another, because that's the help we get. We can do better. And where in City Council, again, does it say that some people at this podium are allowed more time than others, or they get 8 or 10 minutes? I still haven't gotten that. And I'd like anyone, please bring in food, cans of food, for donations. Bring them in here to City Council. Leave them here in City Council. Maybe someone from this body or this building will help the homeless and get the cans of food to where they need to be.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Fifth order, 5A motions.
Mr. King, do you have any motions or comments?
Nothing at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Schuster, do you have any motions or comments?
Yes, I have a few. All right. There's a property at 915 Euclid Avenue in the Trip Park section. Can we ask code enforcement or for an update on this property. It's extremely overgrown. The house is starting to fall apart. It's only been vacant for a few years, but it's deteriorating quickly.
I'll get that information, sir.
Thank you. I sent over an email in the last few days about the West Scranton Little League. They just started defoliating the hillside between the baseball field and Novembrino splash pad. They cleared off the steps. They're requesting that the city put 2 LED lights shining on the steps. The lights at the splash pad are on throughout the night, and there's poles already in existence. So I know I sent an email over, but if we needed any more information on that, please let me know, and we'll see what we can get out of maybe Parks and Rec.
Yeah, that was submitted. I'll advise you of their response.
All right, thank you very much. I want to say thank you to the Scranton Fire Department. They quickly extinguished a fire on Froude Avenue in the last few days, and everybody remains safe in that situation. I did get a call from East Mountain about a ditch at Cherry Street and Blucher Avenue. I believe Mr. King knows about it. A situation where the water comes out of the ditch and it causes black ice on those streets. I believe, is it the 1400 block or is it the...
It's the 1300 block of Cherry, and it comes from the, I guess it would be the northerly side and crosses to the southerly side, but it kind of creates a situation where it's like black ice. And it's a downhill with the tight 90-degree turn, so it is a little dangerous. If DPW could take a look at that, or I don't know if the work that's being done by RLE associated with the stormwater project will help address that or alleviate it. Most of that work's happening up a little bit higher, up in the,
that's where I was getting at.
1500 block.
Yeah, so part of the question would be, is the work that's being done currently going to help that situation, or is it something that we need to look into, because it is a dangerous situation with black ice crossing the street there?
I will, gentlemen.
All right, thank you. I did get some answers back from last week. I asked about the new pave cut process this year, the number of permits related to pave cuts. So at this point in time, the city issued 636 permits during the first 2 months of 2025, and they're waiting on an additional 102 permits that have been forecasted through November and December. So they're looking at a total of about 738 permits in 2025. I did get some of the revenue generated from 2016 to 2025. There's a lot here to read out. But I guess that's all for tonight. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Schuster. Dr. Rothchild, do you have any motions or comments?
Just wanted to touch again regarding the Code Blue, because there are a couple questions about it. So as I responded to Ms. Klosky, there was an announcement today that the city is partnering with Catholic Social Services to help staff our Code Blue shelter at Weston Field. And I am happy that they came to an agreement and that we will have help with that. I was getting nervous because it is already getting cold, and we want to be able to still offer that help and the shelter. I will inquire about the time that it opens and see if there's any wiggle room there, or what the thought was behind the time being 8 o'clock for the opening of the shelter. And I know that we'd gotten some reasoning in the past as to why it closes at a certain time, but I'll ask them about that gap for when it opens. And I was on the phone with the Chief Judge earlier today too, and he did explain to me about the temperature being based off of, they've always gone off of the county Code Blue shelter, because they're the ones that in the past have determined when those Code Blue shelters would open. And so that was based on that 20-degree number. I'm not sure where else that compares with, but that's the information that I have as of now, but we can continue to inquire about it. I agree that it should be higher than it is. wouldn't want to be sleeping outside in 25-degree weather either. So that's, I'll keep pushing and asking questions and helping any way that I can in this. That's all that I have on that. And I believe that's it. A couple other things that I'll send forward, but that's all at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rothchild. Mr. McAndrew, do you have any motions or comments?
I have a few. So first of all, Code Blue, we've been hearing about this for a couple of years. We've been hearing about it for a couple of weeks. I think since, we're the legislative body, we can create our own resolutions, our own ordinances. Why don't we pick a temperature that we're comfortable with, that the public or the homeless aren't going to be comfortable with? I don't think we have to follow the county. I mean, these aren't county facilities that per se in Scranton that are going to be utilized by these poor people that are cold. So Solicitor Gilbride, could you please just look into the possibility of us actually deciding what temperature would be the most appropriate to help our residents? Yes, sir. I don't think we need blessing from anybody. All right, thank you. Also, so last week, a gentleman reached out to me, and he was very concerned, and he's very supportive of our homeless population. He donates, he checks on them, and and for the health, safety, and welfare of these homeless individuals, he had a concern near Sheets, right? That because of the amount of garbage, not only that it was unsightly, but he was worried about their health and safety with rodents, disease, etc. So he asked me to ask. So I did ask, and I reached out. I had Mr. Voldenberg reach out to Code Enforcement, SPD, DPW, may please address the growing unsheltered camp in the area of Sheets and North Scranton Expressway. The resident asked if temporary placement of trash cans, as they may assist in those parties living there on the various lots, ramps, areas, etc., to help, keep a sanitary environment. All right, it's not only is it unsightly, but bacteria grows. All right, it's everywhere, and more so with critters and bacteria. I mean, garbage. So he asked for a couple garbage cans. The administration completed work. Said DPW in conjunction with SPD completed work at the unsheltered encampment between Sheets and Express on November 10th. Which is fine, but it has to be maintained. And I'm thrilled when them guys do it, and they take great pride in doing it. But the administration said that the DPW isn't budgeted to purchase additional garbage cans to place near the areas of these encampments. I mean, we're sitting here listening to budget work sessions of, we're doing pretty good. Not raising taxes. We found some money here. We're getting increased revenue here. I can't believe we can't buy a couple garbage cans to put in this area. I'll donate one myself if somebody will match me. I'll throw it out there. I mean, let's ask administration, because they can't afford it or budget it, would they be okay if some people actually do donate and some garbage cans to this area to help with this, make this area more sanitary? Would you please ask?
I will.
Thank you. I just wasn't happy with the actual answer. So, also, guess what? So, 5B, the amendment of zoning up near Geisinger. Guess what? I had to read it in the paper. Pretty sad, right? When a sitting council member has to read that the mayor wants to switch the zoning back to, like, say, civic zoning, or amend the current zoning ordinance with regards to Geisinger. Pretty sad that I have to read it in the paper. All right? And it's also pretty sad that that legislation was put on the agenda yesterday, the day before today. That's not policy. So looks like a rush job? Yeah, it sure does, for all the reasons already mentioned or even thought. I mean, and the fact that they never appealed it, and they're not going through the process and just relying on the mayor to get enough votes to amend it. I don't like the process. I would like to make a motion, because if we're going to approve this or disapprove this, it's in our hands. I would like to make a motion to have the Geisinger people come and explain to all of you, because I don't know what their intentions are, probably the 100-foot Garages are back on the table, but we don't know that for sure. You guys are going to be the most affected by it by last time. It was a very controversial issue. I don't think it should be rushed through this quickly. It raises an eyebrow. So let me clarify my motion. I would like to make a motion to have Geisinger representatives or their legal team that's doing their representation or speaking to the mayor come and speak to us and the residents.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second on the question.
On the question, could we also add, before this is introduced, I'd like to make a motion or to amend that to have the Geisinger representatives come in here to explain this before this is even introduced in council.
So you have a motion and a second on the floor. The way to amend that motion would be by way of a friendly amendment, which has to be accepted by the person that made the amendment and then seconded by the person who seconded
So I'll make a friendly amendment that before this piece of legislation even gets introduced here in council chambers, that the Geisinger representatives come to explain it.
Yes.
On the question, I was going to support the original motion to amend, but not with that addition on there. I would like to see us introduce it, have Geisinger come in here, explain to us, and get it moving.
Mr. President, before we move forward, we need to, because this needs to be gotten right. You have an amendment and a second. The only one who can offer a friendly amendment is the person who made the original motion. So that would be Mr. McAndrew.
Right. So if you want to, you would have to withdraw that before we could accept that.
So withdraw my first motion.
You want to accept? No, you don't have to withdraw. You would have to accept.
Well, I said I accept. I said
Okay.
yes, I will accept.
Now there needs to be a second
The amendment.
by the person who seconded the original motion.
I'm in agreement with the original motion, but not the amended motion, because I would like to have further discussion on the question when we get to the fifth order piece for introduction.
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Okay, so we do not have a motion on changing it.
You have a motion, but you have a motion to amend, but you don't have a second.
Right.
So it dies. The amendment dies, but the initial motion.
But it goes back to
the initial
my
motion
motion.
is still alive.
Correct.
But I'm still happy to have Geisinger come in here and explain their plans.
Okay, so we will.
You would be voting on Mr. McAndrew's original motion that was seconded by.
So, on the question,
Dr.
on the
Rothchild.
original motion.
So the original motion is that Geisinger comes into caucus to explain what their plan is.
Correct.
All right, no one else? So all in favor of Mr. McAndrew's motion to have GCMC come here and explain to us what their actual plan is there. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and motion carries.
And let me see, that's all I have for motions.
Thank you.
Thank
So, Mr. McAndrew, I'm sorry, Mr. Voldenberg, you and Attorney Gilbride will draft that request and get it to GCMC. I would hope tomorrow.
We'll reach
maybe
out
we
to
are
them in
back
the morning.
on Tuesday now, instead of, so it's not really a whole week. So, or we'll see what their availability is, and if they want to have a different meeting, if we can handle that also. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Anything else, Mark? Okay. Okay, Frank, thank you.
Five B for introduction and ordinance, amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Scranton to amend provisions related to hospitals and off-street parking and to amend the zoning map.
At this time, I entertain a motion that item 5B be introduced into its proper committee.
So moved.
Second.
On the question.
On the question, there was a lot of controversy around this when the zoning ordinance was put forward in 2023. There's been a long time, it's been 2 years now. At that point in time, Geisinger was committed to a neighborhood advisory board. They stated they would conduct noise, light, shade, traffic, and other studies in the area. Can we just find out if this has been done? have they created a neighborhood advisory board to get the input of the neighbors?
I'll ask that question.
Thank you very much. I'd like to echo some of the things that Mr. McAndrew said. Pretty much goes against our council protocols on how we get legislation in here. You know, when this was first, when the hospital first approached the city, they did say they were going to bring in a NICU. They might have said they were going to expand trauma, things like this. These are things that we've heard before. When we actually had them in here for caucus, the actual expansion was parking garages and 3.8 new beds, and I didn't feel that 100-foot parking garages constituted an expansion of service of 3.8 new beds. I mean, I'm open-minded here to see what the hospital is going to do, what kind of expansion of services are going to happen. I do not like how this ended up on our agenda. I don't like how it ended up on our agenda yesterday. So the public really didn't have an opportunity to see it. I'm glad that some of the individuals from the Hill neighborhood came out. I think the Hill neighborhood should be concerned about the whole 2023 ordinance, as that 2023 ordinance was tailored for the University of Scranton, which is in your neighborhood, and it was tailored for Geisinger, which is in your neighborhood. I think it should be a concern. I'm glad that Mr. Skakidi brought up the fact that if Geisinger was opposed to the zoning in 2023, they could have appealed it with the zoning board, and they haven't done that. I'm going to be voting no to introduce this tonight. I'll keep an open mind as we move forward into 6th and 7th order. But they had an opportunity to go to the zoning board. They had an opportunity to present their plan. And that was what this body tried to do with the amendment in that ordinance in 2023, was that if they wanted to, they would present their plan. And it was forcing them to present their plan. And they haven't, as far as I know, presented it yet.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to vote yes to introduce, because I want them here. I want to hear what they're going to do. If we voted no for this, then we wouldn't get the answers we seek if everybody voted no. So, yeah, it still bothers me that they had a couple years to come up with Plan B or C and present it to somebody. They didn't. They didn't appeal it. And I do remember them saying they're going to be better partners with the community. They're going to have these committees. I'd like to know if that occurred, if they were sincere and they fulfilled their part of it, wanting to be good neighbors. And guess what? I know there's going to be some narratives out there that, oh, what are you against care for, you know, children and having a NICU or a neonatal? No, that's not going to be spun in my direction. I'm going to tell you right now, I had 2 daughters that were life flighted from the CMC. One a couple of days after she was born, and one as an adolescent, because they had that type of care or that level of care there. I'm not against that or going to entertain any spin from anybody in this building that if you vote no, you're voting against progress, you're voting against better health care, because that's coming. I know it's coming, but I'm prepared for that. So like I said earlier, I didn't like how this was introduced, raised an eyebrow, found out a couple media outlets had it before we did. This was strategically planned, the delivery, and then all of a sudden the legislation appears the day before our meeting. Come on, that's not how we roll around here. It's not how we're supposed to roll. And I can tell you, come January, it's not going to happen like that again. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kramer. Anyone else? Although, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have a question. I have a few comments. So I just want to start by saying the vote 2.5 years ago that took place, I don't regret my vote. At the time, I understood the need for an expansion, but I also thought that the amendment that we had voted on, Geisinger would still be able to move forward with their plans and with their project. Certainly when they come in, we can ask them about why they haven't gone to the zoning board, if that's why they don't feel like that's an option, and more details on what their plan would be. And I know that they have made changes to their hospital operations since then to try to make accommodations because of the overflow they were having in the emergency department, and some of their lack of care that they wanted to be able to provide. I think that our healthcare landscape has changed over those past couple of years. I am still concerned about what's going on with Commonwealth, and I want to make sure we do have strong healthcare in the city of Scranton. There's still like a lot of uncertainty, I think, with the potential tenor deal, and I am glad that this would have, once again, a 30-day public comment period like it did last time. That would be able to hear concerns and questions from residents, and of course take those seriously and take those to Geisinger. I will be voting yes to introduce the legislation tonight. I believe in beginning at least the legislative process to reconsider potential zoning changes, and I would still like to see a community benefits agreement, which was a part of the discussion a couple of years ago, to have that with the neighborhood. So I'd like to see the development of that if there's not one already. That's all that I have.
Thank you, Dr. Rothchild. All those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
The ayes have it, and so moved.
5C for introduction, a resolution amending contract originally titled Pave Cut Inspection to change the name of Mid-Atlantic Engineering, Inc. to Pannoni Associates, Inc., invoke the automatic 12-month contract extension, and update the fees to show a reduced rate for the extended year.
At this time, I entertain a motion that item 5C be introduced into its proper committee.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, can we just get an update before this 12-month auto extension is passed? How's this program working? If we can get it from DPW. I know I asked Ms. Cipriani here tonight, and she said it's going great, but can we get some kind of data to say, to back up the statement of the program is going great?
I will, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else on the question? All those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and so moved.
5D for introduction, a resolution authorizing the execution and submission of the grant application by the City of Scranton to the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation's Transportation Alternatives Set-Aside Program for the Providence Road Corridor Project.
At this time, I entertain a motion that item 5D be introduced into its proper committee.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, so moved.
5E for introduction, a resolution authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials of the City of Scranton to accept and disperse grant funds from the Walmart Spark Good Grant Program in the amount of $5,000 to support the Scranton Police Department's annual coat drive.
At this time, I entertain a motion that item 5E be introduced into its proper committee.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and so moved.
5F for introduction, a resolution authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials of the City of Scranton to seek funding to establish a Pathways Navigator position dedicated to improving coordination among local food outreach and assistance agencies.
At this time, I entertain a motion that item 5F be introduced into its proper committee.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, so moved.
5G for introduction, a resolution authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and enter into a contract with PMA Management Corporation for third-party administration, self-insured workers' compensation, and heart and lung claims.
At this time, I entertain a motion that item 5G be introduced into its proper committee.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, so moved.
5H for introduction, a resolution authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and submit a grant application by the Office of Economic and Community Development of the City of Scranton to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Commonwealth Financing Authority for a local share account grant for up to $821,100 to be used towards the All Saints Academy elevator renovations, installation of 2 interior ramps, and 3 accessible restroom facilities project.
At this time, I entertain a motion that item 5H be introduced into its proper committee.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so moved.
Sixth order, 6A, reading by title, filed to council number 102, 2025, an ordinance appropriating funds for the expenses of the city government for the period commencing on the first day of January 2026 to and including December 31st, 2026, by the adoption of the general city operating budget for the year 2026.
You've heard reading by title of item 6A. What is your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I move that item 6A pass reading by title.
Second.
On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and so moved.
I make a motion to table item 6A.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor and a second to table item 6A. This ordinance is being tabled until public hearing can be held on Tuesday, November 18th, 2025 at 5:45 p.m. On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, so moved.
6B, reading by title, filed to council number 103, 2025, an ordinance establishing a no parking zone along the southeasterly side of the 500 block of South Washington Avenue.
You've heard reading by title of item 6B. What is your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I move that item 6B pass reading by title.
Second.
On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so moved.
Seventh order, 7A, for consideration by the Committee on Finance for adoption, file to council number 100, 2025. Amending file to council number 31, 2024, an ordinance as amended entitled, approving and accepting the City of Scranton capital budget, which includes a capital reserve fund spending plan for the year 2025, pursuant to Section 904 of the city's Home Rule Charter, and filed to council number 11 of 2024 by amending certain line items in the 2025 capital budget and the 2025 capital reserve fund spending plan, and to add new line items in the 2025 capital budget and the 2025 capital reserve fund spending plan.
What is the recommendation of the chairperson for the Committee on Finance?
As chairperson for the Committee on Finance, recommend final passage of item 7A.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothchild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7A legally and lawfully adopted.
7B, for consideration by the Committee on Rules for adoption, filed to council number 101, 2025. Amending abandoned property code to expand registration requirements for vacant properties, strengthen enforcement, place additional requirements on vacant properties, and enact related provisions.
As chairperson for the Committee on Rules, I recommend final passage of item 7B.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothchild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7B legally and lawfully adopted.
7C, for consideration by the Committee on Public Works for adoption, resolution number 279, 2025, authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and enter into a contract with Rutledge Excavating to perform services for the Stormwater Fast Track project.
What is recommendation of the chairperson for the Committee of Public Works?
As chairperson for the Committee on Public Works, I recommend final passage of item 7C.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothchild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7C legally and lawfully adopted.
7D, for consideration by the Committee on Community Development for adoption, resolution number 280, 2025, authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and submit a grant application on behalf of the ARC of Northeastern Pennsylvania to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Commonwealth Financing Authority for a local share account grant pursuant to the PA Racehorse Development and Gaming Act for up to $76,500 to be used towards the major renovations to their headquarters project.
I make a motion to correct a typographical error in the summary title to change Monroe to statewide.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor and a second to correct Resolution 280 of 2025. On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and so moved. The recommendation for the chairperson for the Committee on Community Development.
As chairperson for the Committee on Community Development, I recommend final passage of item 7D as amended.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothchild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7D as amended, legally and lawfully adopted.
7E for consideration by the Committee on Community Development for adoption, Resolution Number 281, 2025, authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and submit a grant application on behalf of the Community Development Properties Scranton, Inc. to the Commonwealth Financing Authority for a local share account grant pursuant to the PA Racehorse Development and Gaming Act for up to $246,391 to be used towards the structural and maintenance improvements to the Linden Street parking garage and the Medallion parking garage project.
To make a motion to correct a typographical error in the summary title to change Monroe to statewide.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor and a second to correct resolution number 281 of 2025. On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so moved. What is the recommendation of the chairperson for the Committee on Community Development?
As chairperson for the Committee on Community Development, I recommend final passage of item 7E as amended.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothchild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7E as amended, legally and lawfully adopted.
7F for consideration by the Committee on Community Development for adoption, Resolution Number 282, 2025, authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and submit a grant application on behalf of the Providence Pregnancy Center to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Commonwealth Financing Authority for a local share account grant pursuant to the PA Racehorse Development and Gaming Act for up to $82,413 to be used towards the roofing project.
I make a motion to,
I make a motion to correct a typographical error in the summary title to change Monroe to statewide.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor and a second to correct resolution number 282 of 2025. On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and so moved. What is the recommendation of the chairperson for the Committee on Community Development?
As chairperson for the Committee on Community Development, I recommend final passage of item 7F as amended.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothchild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7F as amended, legally and lawfully adopted.
7G for consideration by the Committee on Community Development for adoption, Resolution Number 283, 2025, authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to amend the contract with Social Contract LLC for the Scranton Community Violence Intervention and Prevention Project.
What is the recommendation of the chairperson for the Committee on Community Development?
As chairperson for the Committee on Community Development, I recommend final passage of item 7G.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothchild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7G legally and lawfully adopted.
7H for consideration by the Committee on Public Works for adoption, Resolution Number 284, 2025, ratifying and approving execution and submission of a contract with Ecor World LLC to perform municipal electronics recycling.
What is the recommendation of the chairperson for the Committee on Public Works?
As chairperson for the Committee on Public Works, I recommend final passage of item 7I.
Second. On the question?
Oh, are we on 7H, I think, isn't it?
H? Yes.
Oh, 7H.
So second on 7H.
On the question? Roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothchild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7H legally and lawfully adopted.
7I for consideration by the Committee on Public Works for adoption, Resolution Number 285, 2025, authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and enter into a contract with Leeward Construction, Inc. to perform the Manuka Stormwater Improvements Project.
What is the recommendation of the chairperson for the Committee on Public Works?
As chairperson for the Committee on Public Works, I recommend final passage of item 7I.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothchild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7I legally and lawfully adopted.
7J for consideration by the Committee on Community Development for adoption, Resolution Number 286, 2025. Resolution expressing the City of Scranton's commitment to ending hunger and malnutrition and establishing policy to promote food access and food security for all.
What is the recommendation of the chairperson for the Committee on Community Development?
As chairperson for the Committee on Community Development, I recommend final passage of item 7J.
Second.
On the question,
On the question, I did get a few people reached out to me. I don't know if a mass text went out or a mass email campaign from the mayor about this, but they weren't sure whether it was spam or not, or whether it was legitimate. So I don't know if there's any way that the IT department or the administration could clarify that so individuals know that this is something real, but just a little bit of feedback.
I'll have some tomorrow.
thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothschild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7J legally and lawfully adopted.
7K for consideration by the Committee on Community Development for adoption, Resolution Number 287, 2025. Authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and submit a grant application on behalf of the City of Scranton through the Department of Economic and Community Development to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Commonwealth Financing Authority for a local share account grant pursuant to the PA Racehorse Development and Gaming Act for up to $176,000 to be used towards the purchase of a new animal control vehicle.
I make a motion to correct a typographical error in the summary title to change Monroe to statewide.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor and a second to correct Resolution 287 of 2025. On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, so moved. What is the recommendation of the chairperson for the Committee on Community Development?
As chairperson for the Committee on Community Development, I recommend final passage of item 7K.
Second.
On the question,
Excuse me, on the question.
7K.
7K as amended.
As amended, thank you.
And there was is a second on the amended?
second.
Yes, second.
Okay, just
Thank you.
clarifying.
Good. On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothschild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7K as amended, legally and lawfully adopted.
Eighth order, no business at this time.
If there's no further business, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.